75% of costs that software companies walk on 2 feet. If you get headcount wrong, you get the entire budget wrong. So last time around, we built an NRR cohort model. That's on the revenue side. Today, we're going to the cost side of the equation. We're going to build a fully loaded headcount planning model that will include benefits loading, monthly phasing for new hires, the whole nine. This is something that I've personally done like a million times as an fp&a leader at Series B and C companies. It's one of those, if you know, then you know. You start with a messy HRIS export, but this time we are going to use Claude and Excel. Let's go. All right, I'm going to open the file here that my People Ops team gave me. As a reminder, though, if you need help setting up Claude in Excel, I will link to a previous video that I did that will walk you through the entire process. So Claude is natively in your Excel model. Okay, so if I look at what I have here, so it's 65 employees. These are current employees. This department looks kind of funky. All right, so we got some mismatches here. So product engineering, product management, some of the engineering, some of these are overlaps, marketing, messy. But I think we understand which departments there. We get the leveling. Cool. All right, so this is key. Their start date, because they're all butts and seats. We're going to assume that they're still working here. Base salary. All right, so as you can see, they're in different locations. Some are remote, some are different US cities, but some are actually different countries. And it looks like we got their salaries, their base salaries in local denominated currency. That'll make it a bit harder because we'll have to make some assumptions as to what it converts at, because we want it all in the same currency. And then bonus targets, except for a couple that are blank. I don't know what's going on there. And then, a couple contractors. It's a little gross. All right, we've got a second tab in here. So this one, the first one was from the HRIS. The second one, okay, I remember this one because I worked with the team to sketch out the new hires that we're going to have to make. So, departments again, all over the place. We have the leveling. Target start dates. This is the key one, right? When will these butts be in seats? We got budgeted salaries. I was like, who's making $5 million at this company? I want to be them. But that is in a different currency. So we have to convert that. We got their location we want to get them in. We get the status. Okay, so in total, looks like we want 18 new hires next year. Okay, so once again, I got people in seats, current employees, and then I got forecasted headcount that I want to contemplate in my model as well. So I'm gonna have a little conversation with Claude here. I'm gonna say my people team sent me this HRIS export and hiring plan. By the way, you can make spelling errors for the most part. It will correct it. I can't spell. I need to build a fully loaded headcount model with monthly phasing for 2026, rolled up by department. Before, this is so key, we build anything, what decisions do I need to make and what problems do you see? So asking this question is imperative. You do not want to give it just a vague prompt and say go. Let's see what issues it surfaces. All right, decisions you need to make. Before I build the model, I need your input. Great. Department mapping, we spotted that one. Fully loaded cost components. What should fully loaded include beyond salary and bonus? Employer payroll taxes, nice. Benefits, equity stock-based comp, any per head IT facilities costs. Oh, that's a good one. Currency, what base currency? What FX rate should I use? I'm so glad I got that. Contractors, including headcount model with different loading or exclude entirely. On hold or X, include the probability haircut, included 100% or exclude. Missing bonus targets, picked up on that too. Nice. And attrition, never budget for attrition. That's a silly question, Claude. How else am I going to hit my cost budget? All right, so just to address a couple of these, we need a budget rate for 2026. I'm not going to use spot because it'll change every month and make my variance analysis just a total nightmare. So I'm going to lock in budget rates. I got one for sterling, one for, what are they using over in Europe these days? Euros, also one for Canadian dollars, and one for the INR. And so we'll convert everything in USD once and hold it. And so this is a real decision that you need to make during annual planning. I've done it a million times. Some CFOs will use the rate on the day they lock the budget. Some use a blended forward rate. So we're going to pick one, we're going to document it, and we're not going to change it mid-year. Because if you do, your variance analysis becomes this foreign exchange Rubik's Cube. I've messed it up before. And if you're wrong, I'd rather be consistently wrong and just be able to explain it, because currency moving is not your fault, but trying to use a crystal ball every month is. On the benefits loading question, I'm going to do 25% of base for US FTEs. That covers health, dental, 401k match, the works. 20% for London and Berlin, because those countries cover more through national systems. So the employer side of the burden is different. I'll do 15% for Bangalore, 20% for Toronto, and 0 for contractors, because they will handle their own. As far as payroll taxes go, I'm going to do 8% of base for US employees. For international, the employer side tax burden varies, but I'm going to do 12% for UK, ouch, 20% for Germany, yikes, 12% for India, 8% for Canada. So those are on top of the healthcare burden that I was going to put in. By the way, these are approximations. Your finance team should have the exact rates from your international PEO or EOR, or you can look at what it was last year. So it's a simple division problem. For bonus accrual, I'm going to do monthly accrual at a target rate. And then for the 9 people missing a bonus target, we will use the department average. On the missing budget salaries for the recs, we're going to use the median for that department and location. And then we also have to do the sales ramp portion. I'm not sure if Claude picked up on this part, but I did. So trust but verify. They get full salary from day one. This is a cost model, not a productivity model, but I want a note that flags the ramp so we can talk about quota coverage separately. That will be a different model that we'll do to a different day. All right, so I'm going to feed these back into Claude to answer some of the questions. I'm also going to ask what other questions you have. So I'm going to ask one more time, right? What does it say? Measure twice, cut once. I think I got that right. What else do you need to ask me before I give you a prompt? Let me confirm the remaining open items before I build. Okay. I'll map to 6 canonical departments. Engineering, include engineering product, engineering smart. Sales, include revenue, go to market. Marketing, include marketing, customer success. Yeah. I guess we don't have any finance people at this company. Yes. What should I do with the 4 on hold recs? You know what? I'm going to include them. That's a great question, because I think they will come off hold. I'd rather have them in and be able to give those headcount back to my colleagues. Should I model attrition? Absolutely not. No attrition. Contractors, 0 benefits. How should they appear in department rollups? Include. They should include. I love how it gives it back to you multiple choice. Less burden for my brain that's only had 1 coffee so far. All right, so it says, want me to go ahead? And I'm going to say yes. And more specifically, here is the prompt for you to use. Now, if you saw in the last video, you know a vague prompt gets you a super mediocre result. So I prepped this one in Claude desktop first. Once again, I'm feeding Claude to Claude. So I have an amazing prompt and it gets it right the first time around. Fingers crossed. So I'm going to paste in this prompt, and this prompt is available for all the paid readers of Mostly Metrics. I will give it to you word for word. So I said, yes. And more specifically, here's the prompt for you to use. Once again, the prompt will be available to you for the paid readers. Create a clean roster sheet, normalize department labels, create a cost build sheet for each employee, calculate fully loaded annual costs in USD. And so what I did in this section is I actually gave the rates that I want to lock into my budget. I also give the benefits upload assumptions. For all those people out there, you've probably created that tab at the front of the workbook that has the assumptions that you can toggle. I'm doing it here. Create a hiring plan, same currency conversion, create a monthly phasing sheet, create a department summary sheet. What I'm going to add in is make it so I can toggle these in the model for, and the same thing here. All right, the moment of truth. It's go time. All right, the moment of truth. It's go time. So it will ask you when it's going to clear a cell. And so I'm going to do allow once. Love how it says dangerously always allow, as if your finger's on like a nuclear weapon. As a heads up, it takes a while for this to go down, like at least, 7 minutes. My producer can correct me here. Throwing a number on the screen. But it got interrupted. Apparently my Wi-Fi was a little shoddy. So I just said, are you done yet? And it's going through to check it to see if it finished what it was doing. So no need to panic. All right, it looks like we're ready to roll. Let's check out what we got. Let's start on the first tab. So it included the assumptions tab. So this is the assumption tab I've built so many times manually. So USD 1.27. So hopefully these all played through. Here's the benefits loading. This looks beautiful. Payroll taxes. So these are the 3 assumptions around pay we needed to make. Bam. Department mapping. Look at that. This is sick. So put them into these buckets. Here's the clean roster. So if you remember, it had to go through and remap to make sure. Oh, so local salary. All right, hell yeah. So it got everybody into one of those departments we discussed before. See, it's clean, no 6. Nice. All right, this is like an aha moment. It took their local salary and converted everything to base. So remember we had the person in India making $5 million. This is now converted to USD. So now they're making 80 grand. Cool. Oh, 6 million. This looks so much better than the raw data sheet. Bonus target. Oh, all the bonus targets are filled in. And then look, it said, nice. It made it another column to say where they made the assumption so I can change it if needed. That is so cool. Next one. All right, here's the cost build. All right, this is key. So it takes the USD base salary that we included or converted to when necessary. Then it has the bonus target. Now it has the annual bonus accrual. Accounting team's going to love that. Has the benefits rate. Look at that long if statement. I love that it's not hard coded. That's incredible. This person's a contractor, so no benefits rate. Got that right. Annual benefits. Wow. Payroll, also a multiplication. That's live. Fully loaded annual. This is incredible. And then fully loaded monthly. I've created these columns before in my own life manually so many times. So for example, this person who was making 95,000 to the company and to you, they're really making 141,000, right? This is a developer. This looks very expensive. Yeah, engineering developer, New York based, 180 base salary, but all my finance pros know it's much more. 180 is really 267 here. Wow. That's the fully loaded cost. Here's the hiring plan. Let's take a look. So these are the recs. Remember we had the 18, 19 recs. Departments are clean. Budget salary local, because remember we had the same thing. Some people are being hired in Canada, some in India. Base salary. I didn't have a salary for one of them. Put department median. Here's the bonus target. Accrual bonus. Same thing. So now I know, this is so cool, the fully loaded cost of each potential hire that we're going to slot in. Here's the monthly phasing. Ooh, this is hot. This is probably my favorite. And this is exactly how I would have built it, where this person's being hired in April, assuming they start on the 1st of April. So 3 months, no pay. Same thing here. This person being hired 9 months in. That's when their pay starts. It's the exact same type of layout I would have done. This is sick. Okay, so this is my forecasted monthly labor costs. This is really cool. So I can see it increase. So I'm going to spend, if I hire everybody at the time, I think I would. You never end up hiring them at the exact same time. I would get to 12 million in labor costs. And I start the year at 883 and ramp to 1.1. This monthly phasing is awesome. Here's a department summary. Engineering. So is this the headcount? Yes, it is. Okay, so this is the absolute headcount. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, end of Q1. Yes! So it shows the incremental. This is beautiful. So it shows the total butts and seats at the end of each period. And it walks us to the 83 people. This is cleaner than what I would have came up with. And then here's the fully loaded cost. Like we saw before. Does that foot 12046? Where is it? 12046. Wow. They didn't even have to put a check there. Average cost per head per department. This is sick. And look, it's a formula too. So I know the average cost per head in engineering is about 16.5 thousand. Here's the raw data. Didn't change it. So I always have that. You want to protect that. Here's the raw hiring plan. So they put it in the back. I'm like blown away with what I was able to come up with and how clean this is. This would have taken me like a week to pull together. Well, let's do some stress tests. How about that? A model is only as good as its contact with reality. Great work. What happens if we delay all P2 priority hires by 1 quarter and cancel the 2 recs that are on hold? Show me the savings by quarter and the full year impact. It's eating its own dog food, as it would say. All right, let's see what it came back with. So I asked that question about delaying hires. P2 cancel on hold baseline plan. Okay. Revised plan. And it gives me the savings by quarter. All right. I could ask for a month. That's 525,000 of fully loaded savings, about a 4.4 reduction off the 12 million total plan. Where the savings come from? Damn. Canceled recs on hold, 292K. Then delayed P2 requests, 233K. Mostly shifting Q2 marketing. Okay. Headcount impact. End of year headcount drops from 83 to 77. So net 6 loss. 4 canceled outright, 2 delayed. 3 things I flagged. You said 2 racks on hold, but there are actually 4. I canceled all 4. If you want to cancel specific ones, let me know. I caught my error. Want me to address all. So it came up with a scenario analysis here. Nice, and it's its own tab, which is good. So it didn't break anything I did before. And so it shows the canceled racks. Look at this walk. This is beautiful. Annual and then quarterly. Then it does the delayed. So it shifts everything out by a quarter. This is unreal. Total impact summary, headcount impact. This would have taken me so long to rebuild. Key notes, and has the notes for me. Wow. All right, let's ask it one more question. I'm like a kid in a candy shop. Here's another scenario to run. What if we move 2 of the open San Francisco engineering racks to Bangalore instead? Same roles, same level. What's the cost difference? All right, let's see what it came up with. So move engineering racks to Bangalore. So there is savings, but it looks like because this role starts later in the year, it's not as much as you'd think, at least the first one. $67K for the first one. Annualized run rate. It's really about the run rate, not the 1 year savings. It's a great point. 186, which is a 46% salary reduction. And it went and this is sweet. It created another tab for me. Look at that walk. And it shows the breakout of the savings by the different line items that get contemplated within a person's salary based on where they live. This is so cool. Bangalore salary estimated 54% of US base. Loading difference only 6 points lower. Real drivers, a base salary reduction. This is so cool. Oh, look at that. Consider Bangalore hires may need overlap hours with the US team, which could affect role scope or require a senior level premium. That is some next level analysis. All right, I want to bring it all home here. We went from a messy HRIS dump with 5 different currencies and like 18 department labels to a fully loaded headcount model with monthly phasing, currency conversion, and department level rollups. We have this beautiful scenario analysis we can use. Like, this model actually works, okay? And we did it in about, I don't know, we did it in like 20-ish minutes. There's a lot of time that I cut out of this where Claude is just thinking. You probably didn't want to just see me scrolling through Twitter, waiting, but know that you can do this easily within an hour from start to finish. This is something that normally would have taken me about a week, and it's organized really cleanly and methodically. So I will include this in the Mostly Metrics newsletter. If you're a paid member, then you can actually get the exact prompts I used, as well as the original raw data and the completed model, so you can do it yourself. This is amazingly helpful for anybody who's running a startup. It could be seed, Series A, Series B, even Series C, who's still navigating in Excel and wants to be able to use their data and forecast accurately across the company. So I'll catch you next time.